You may hold a position of command with our special forces, forces which are too unconventional to be called conventional, forces which are growing in number and importance and significance. And these are the kinds of challenges that will be before us in the next decade. If freedom is to be saved, it requires a whole new kind of strategy, a wholly different kind of force, and therefore a new and wholly different kind of military training.
When I come back to Bavaria, I feel at home.
In 1953, a small group of American soldiers arrived in Bad Tölz, Germany. These soldiers were the first of a long history of soldiers to follow. This tight group became America's best warriors. snoBros is a group from these warriors with members who served from the 1950s to present day. To build a strong bond, you need hard times and good times, times to help each other through, and times to enjoy one another. Special Forces is a life of excitement and danger, but when it's over, what? snoBros shows the side of Green Berets not seen before. So why did snoBros join the U.S. Army?
I joined the Army because for me there weren't very many options.
It was not if you were going to be a soldier, it's when you was going to become a soldier.
My father told me, he says, you have two choices. I thought for a moment and I said, I think I'll go into the military because I don't want to go into a reform school.
I saw the movie The Green Beret back probably when it came out, probably I was about 10 years old. And I thought that would be the coolest thing in the world.
The option to become a ranger, so that appealed to me because it was full of adventure.
My father gave me 4 choices when I graduated high school: Marines, Navy, Army, or Air Force.
What inspired these guys to join Special Forces?
When I joined it, I did not really understand what I was getting into. However, it became clear very quickly that it was something that I wanted to do.
Well, Special Forces had the most challenging training and probably the smartest people.
You know, I liked the idea of jumping out of airplanes at the time.
I really knew what Special Forces was. Every time they asked for a volunteer, I just raised my hand.
I want to do something a little bit more professional. I want to work with more professional people.
We were by a range and there was a bunch of guys, head and shaved, out of uniform, sticking their hands in the pants, and I'm like, who the hell are them guys? Oh, they're Special Forces. They do their own thing, and really.
Men, Special Forces is a mistress. Your wives will be jealous of her because of the power to pull you away.
This mistress will show you things never before seen, and you will experience things that you have never before felt. She will love you, but only a little.
Seduce you to want more, to give more, and to die for her. She will take you away from the ones you love,
and you will hate her for it. But leave her you never will. But if you must, you will miss her, for she is a part of you that will never be returned intact.
And in the end, she will leave you for a younger man.
Seems there is more to Special Forces than most will understand. What would bring these soldiers back together year after year?
I retired in 2005, and it became very apparent after the first couple of years that there was this tremendous gap in my life I missed from the camaraderie and the support from within the unit, from the folks on an A team.
Funny how paths cross.
1997 or 96, Duke Dewey and I was talking to him. I didn't know him very long. I had just met him. In fact, I called him Mr. Dewey, I think. And I went to his office at Norwich University one time, and we were talking, and he had trail maps from the Bronick and the Hintertux and Christlum on his wall behind his desk. And I was saying, Mr. Dewey, you know, you've been to these places. He says, well, a long time ago I was in Bad Tölz. So I said, hey, you know, we started talking, one thing led to the next, and we said, why don't we start a small group, Duke and me, and we get some guys to go back to Bad Tölz and maybe ski and do some stuff.
So I got on the phone and called John Holland, and I said, John, do you know some guest houses over there where we can come? He says, yeah. He says, there's a place called the Kranjestuben. They'll really like you guys there because the Decade Association used to meet there.
snoBros is a club, essentially, of former or retired Special Forces soldiers.
snoBros is great that we have folks here that are keeping alive this very special relationship that we developed with the citizens of Bad Tölz.
1982, when I went to Ranger School at Fort Benning, Georgia, I was with, in my class, 3 or 4 guys that were stationed here in Bad Tölz at the time. It was their stories of life here in Bad Tölz, their winter warfare, skiing, conduct among the Alps and the Bavarian people that kind of lit a small fire into leading me to join the Special Forces.
Being in Bad Tölz on an A team was probably the best career opportunity I had in my entire military career. Now, I spent 26 years in the Army, and of those 26 years, the 3.5 years that I spent here were probably the most memorable and the most fun and the most challenging time of my life, of my military career.
The store behind me here used to be called Miller Mutzi, and that's where we got the first berets at when they were the unofficial headgear for the Green Berets back in the 1950s. And then it was awarded by President Kennedy in 1963 as our official headgear.
The Special Forces Group has a long history in Bad Tölz. Most may have moved away, but their hearts and souls remain.
My name is Sebastian. I'm 72 years old, and I grew up in Sachsenkamm. Got to wood carving because my father was a farmer, and he carves for hobby. And so I found all the wood and the chisels in the house. So I started when I was about 7-8 years. I started carving. The first thing what I have to do for the Special Forces, a plaque with the Trojan horse.
I sent the figures and made them finish for painting and stain it and wax it, and with shellac, everything else I do.
Really don't know, but I'm sure I have a few hundred plaques and maybe 100 till 150 kinds of soldier for the Special Forces. I like to stay in touch with the Special Forces because it's really they are more not this complicated than the German people. We stay still in touch. They come all 3-4 years to our house, and we come sometimes to the States.
I wish them all the best and hope snoBros can come back very often.
My name is Stephanie Frühauf. It started all out with my father, Wolfie Frühauf. He owned a bar in Lenggries, and the soldiers, the special forces, came in to have drinks and so on. Later on we had the Stokkerwirt in Wegscheid, and all the guys started bringing the families, so the friendship actually started there. And yeah, brotherhood and friendship continues until now.
Yeah, cool guys, cool beer drinkers, good joke tellers, and you really can feel some spirit when you meet them, especially together. Yeah, smart people, that's all I can say.
It's almost a little magical. It's kind of like one of those little fairy tale things you used to see as a kid. You know, I'm sure that the Neuschwanstein influenced a lot of the Disney movies and the whole Bavarian atmosphere. The people are warmer and nicer. There's just a kind feeling here. The architecture, the history, the sense of community, it's really beautiful. It really kind of gets into your heart and you become a part of it once you've been here for any length of time.
These were the best years of my life. And so my heart is here. My children were born and brought up here. My grandchildren come back here every year. So this is part of my life, my family's life.
Being a winter warrior was the mark of our organization, is what we train to do every day, and so it's kind of a natural course for us to return to.
Well, the one commonality I think we all had was skiing and the love of the mountains and snow.
Not only having to ski down the mountain with very heavy rucksacks, but we spent a fair amount of time climbing up the mountain with them.
You really block out all the difficult parts. You always remember the fun stuff.
So we use our training to essentially have fun.
Mountaineering, being out with all of our stuff on our backpacks, it was what we trained to do all the time.
And you've got to be able to get around and learn how to survive in the snow, whether it be on skis or snowshoes or by foot. So it's become a very mission essential task to be able to learn how to ski.
The only one lift on a Browning was the bond. When you came up here to ski, you skied down, you walked back up. And we did, a lot of our training was all cross-country work, mountain skiing, and it was with the old skis, and they used to have zombie boots. I don't know if you guys ever seen those.
Winter environmental training. We used to do, winter environmental training or winter warfare. Frank and I were on the same one. We'd start out with ski training, so everybody would get proficient with their skis and the equipment, and then we'd go out into the mountains and conduct exercises related to real-world missions.
I spent 2 ski seasons here in Bad Tölz, and we would come to the Bronick every winter for 30 days of training, where they would break you up into ski teams to your ability, and then you had ski instructors that would help you become a better skier by teaching you better techniques. And of course, everything changes when you put 50 to 100 pounds of weight on your back. It's a different type of skiing to be able to learn to do that.
Well, I first trained here in 1985, so it was a great place. I went to the German ski instructor school.
It's probably the best training area that we had in the 10th Special Forces Group stationed at Bad Tölz, Flint Kaserne, for mountaineering skills and winter environmental training. It has a variety of different types of terrain. It was very close to Kaserne, so the battalion, the 1st Battalion of the 10th Special Forces Group, used it extensively for military mountaineering and military ski training.
I trained at the Bronick quite frequently. I've probably got about 250 days of skiing here prior to this week.
I came over here and it was like walking back into the team room. Drinking a beer, throwing insults back and forth, laughing at each other and at the war stories of the places and the shared experiences. It was just wonderful. It was just absolutely wonderful.
snoBros is fantastic. I had no idea 19 years ago that we would be filming, making a movie.
It is good medicine. It is an excellent way to reconnect with our past and the bonds that span time and distance. It kind of reinvigorates and brings the youth back into a lot of old guys. It's just a good time, and it's going to keep going on.
People are willing to leave their comfort zones of their jobs and their families for 10 days a year.
The best thing about snoBros is no strict time limits. The plan changes from minute to minute.
snoBros is really a code word for camaraderie.
What is Special Forces to me? I think it's the ultimate brotherhood and family. You know, we're in the service at the same time, but we all experienced the same things and shared the same challenges to get to where we were. So you can know somebody for 2 hours and they would feel like you've known them for 20 years. And we have all the different age groups here and we all fit in perfectly.
We're here to continue the friendship, to continue the camaraderie, to continue the skiing if you're still able to do it. And if you can't, you still join the group and enjoy the camaraderie of just being together.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to propose a toast to all Snow Brothers, past, present, and future. And also recognize our friends that are here with us tonight, Sebastian Demmel and his wife, Christiana, and also our friends from the Kranzer, Francesca Picella, and also Julia, her beautiful daughter, Julia Picella. I'd also like to bring attention to a friend that we lost in recent past, our good brother, Václav Havel. Hear, hear. Hear.
Frank Sakari was the one who initiated the entire show, and we established our chapter, and then we resumed the laying of arrangements on graves of fallen soldiers or soldiers that passed away while they were here on retirement in Germany.
Well, today the leadership from 10th Special Forces Group and some of the soldiers and the ODAs are joining some of our most senior founding fathers. We're joining them to pay respects to the service members and the Green Berets that came before them.
The coin in Special Forces has been a tradition for a lot of years. They were units. Each unit had a coin, and the way that Special Forces soldiers would identify themselves would be to come into a place. If someone was talking like they were in Special Forces or that they had some Special Forces experience, the first thing you would do is you would take your coin, which is two-sided, and you would slap it on the table or a bar. And they had about 4 seconds to dig the coin out of their pocket and respond. And the reason that it was 4 seconds was because that was the time, from the time you exited an aircraft under a static line attached to your parachute, and the parachute started to come out, or it didn't, the 4-second rule was to then pull your reserve. So that's why they had 4 seconds to get their coins out, because then they were violating the reserve rule.
It's a challenge coin. If you take it out and you put it on the bar, and if there's somebody in that group that doesn't have a coin, he buys. But if you take it out and put it on the bar and everybody has a coin, you buy. So you're very careful. It got to the point where it was so ridiculous, we used to tape a coin to our ass when we took a shower, because there'd be some fool in there who want to challenge you.
If I could survive Special Forces, if I can jump out of a plane, I can survive anything. Every morning when I walked through the gates and came on to the quadrangle here and then saw the mountains in the background here, I always thought to myself, boy, I am the luckiest person in the world to be stationed here in Bad Tölz, Germany, in Flint Kaserne.
The battalion headquarters was located in the apex of this building. The two corners come together.
All right, it was here where I learned in this very pool that I was not going to become a scuba guy on an SF team.
So what do they do now? Life after Special Forces just isn't the same.
When I retired, I opened up a construction company.
I'm working as a Army Junior ROTC instructor.
I work for a counterterrorism and cybercrime organization.
I retired.
I deliver boats, pick them up, deliver them, captain for crews all over the Bahamas.
I run a business that makes motorcycle seats.
Sales manager for a major manufacturer of surveillance equipment.
I am the Deputy Chief for United States Army Europe Anti-Terrorism.
So I'm a CNC machinist. I try not to work. Sometimes I think I need to go back to work so I can have a little extra spending money, but I'm fully retired right now.
You know, I'm a dumb surgeon, right? I make boobs bigger, I make them smaller, I make people younger. This whole...
When you leave the military, when you leave as a professional soldier, you're in the civilian world, and there's no longer that bond with any of your civilian colleagues. But you search that out and you can't find it until you come back to something like this.
Joint military training develops relationships, which can lead to friends in high places.
Oh, yes. Did the front end of that thing come off the ground?
No, but dude, let me tell you what. I'll tell you what else came off the ground.
When this fucking trailer breaks off,
Blue bills are starting to kick in.
Tölz Huta, a well-known hangout for 1st Battalion and the best chow on the Brownet.
All right, brothers, I need you to be quiet for a second. Brothers, be quiet for a second. I need you to get out of the way, Robin. All right? I should have brought my wife. Shut the fuck down. As we know, snoBros comes once a year. Among other things that come once a year are birthdays. And the snoBros wish to give a very special birthday wish to our brother Frank. Here, here. You guys clear a little hole in that table there?
Frank, take away from that apple strudel while you take it.
Happy birthday
brother Frank, who's with us tonight. He's happy, he's honey, he's jolly by golly. So drink, motherfucker, drink, motherfucker, drink, motherfucker, drink. Come on!
Well done, Frank.
I got algebra in the morning, I gotta go home.
Servus. Meine sehr verehrten Damen und Herren, ich freue mich sehr, anlässlich der Einweihung dieses Denkmals heute wieder einmal in die vertraute und hochgeschätzte Stadt Bad Tölz zurückzukehren. Die Zeit, die ich hier von 1985 bis 1988 als Offizier der US Army verbrachte, gehört zu den besten Jahren meines Lebens.
Today's occasion is the best proof that this has truly succeeded, that the Bavarian-American friendship has steadily grown and that it has remained a spirited and vibrant friendship even after the base in Bad Tölz was closed in 1991.
Seit dem Ende des Zweiten Weltkrieges haben unsere beiden Länder eine Partnerschaft und Freundschaft entwickelt, die enger ist als jede andere dieser Welt. Und beide Seiten haben immens von ihr profitiert.
The best thing about Special Forces is the people that we meet and the places that we go. My whole career, I have met people from every country in Europe. I have learned to live with them. I have learned to have fun with them, to train with them, and in some cases even go to combat with them.
They unveiled jointly a statue with the Bavarian and with the American soldier Special Forces to celebrate and demonstrate the years of camaraderie. And that really kind of defines why we keep coming back as snoBros. You know, the ties to this place for us are also equally as strong for the Bavarians and the people that live here. So, you know, it was kind of an honor to be here and take part of this, witness this, and be able to report back to the other snoBros and then the greater SF community about what took place today. So essentially, what we're going to do here, kind of a tradition that we started here very recently with the snoBros. We are going to officially approve this for the snoBros.
To go skiing with the snoBros, you travel the next country over, you spend max amounts of money on a ski lift ticket, you go up, you ski to the first guest house, you sit there and drink beer all day, then you just come down. I know I'm telling secrets that we can't tell our wives.
Most people like a challenge. It's like skiing. Once you start skiing, you don't want to stay on the bunny slope. You want to get the next challenge.
the concept of getting together every year with the people that we grew up with to do the things that we learned here on this mountain, you know, a long time ago is outstanding. This has been a remarkable week of catching up with old friends and relearning the art of skiing, which did not come as quickly as I wanted it to, but nonetheless, it's been an outstanding time, and we'll definitely do it again.
It's a life. It's a lifestyle. And it still goes on today. You know, it don't get no better than that.
Got that right, Squeak. It don't get no better. From the original home of Special Forces in the beautiful Bavarian Alps, Servus.
I'm just here for the beer. I don't know about these other guys. I've never met any of these guys in my life. You know? They told me there'd be free beer and some, you know, the ability to fall down a hill. So I was like, I'm all in.
Years to come when my grandsons watch this film, is that all Papa did in the Army? Was ski, drink beer, and eat good food?